Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doomsday pre-show. We have got the wrestling god versus a literal god, JBL versus the debuting Shiva. I am the colonist, and we have got 3 tremendous days of professional wrestling action here in Colonial Impact Wrestling, ready, loaded, and delivered to you. And this has been a wild time to be a fan of CIW. Thank you if you are joining us here for the first time. Here comes JBL, the wrestling god. He doesn't get out to wrestle very often, but I'm told that JBL decided to suit up for this occasion, decided to take on a man who has been called, or he calls himself a god, a man who's beaten 1,161 other gods, or whatever the lore is from Record of Ragnarok. And JBL, of course, won the WWE Championship over Eddie Guerrero and had a 9-month run that a lot of people didn't like, but I still think JBL's a hell of a heel. So I've got nothing bad to say about JBL, and I actually appreciate the fact that JBL took some time out of his day, had some contact and cocktails with Michael Corleone, and decided to step into the ring here to test his might against the man who is trying to make a name for himself here in CIW. But a tough challenger ahead of Shiva is JBL, and a tough challenger ahead of JBL, as Shiva had a hell of a competition in the Record of Ragnarok himself, lost 3 out of 4 of his arms, has since recuperated, but is only allowed to have 2 of them visible at this in CIW in the interest of fairness, you know, the whole no powers rule that we keep in action. But JBL, he looks pretty ready. He looks pretty ready. He looks in great shape for his age, but this man, you want to talk about prepared, the consummate cockiness of Shiva cannot be overstated. But this man, of course, the tattoos, the more tattoos he's got, the more aggressive he is and the more powerful he is. And because he's decided to basically stagnate with these tattoos, he's going pretty full blast here on these wrestlers, which means JBL has really got to be careful. That really devastating Devaloka kick that, of course, won him his Record of Ragnarok fight. And folks, if you don't watch anime, if you want to see just a kind of an off-the-beaten-path anime, I highly recommend Record of Ragnarok. It's on Netflix, but it's a very interesting concept, and I think that the story that they tell is quite good. Even though it takes quite a few episodes to kind of get through, kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! And kind of like like Dragon Ball Z, it just takes forever to get through the fights, like 4 or 5 episodes. But some of the stories they tell are really worth it, including why this man is here today to take on JBL and kick off our Doomsday pre-show with 2 loaded days coming up tomorrow on the 17th, and of course on Sunday the 18th, 4 championships. We've got a loser leaves match. We've got the King of the Spring finals. It is a hell of a cell match to boot. It is a great time to be a part of CIW, and here we go. Referee Luke Goss assigned to this contest. And right now, just a feeling out process. Collar and elbow tie up. Of course, the power game, I would imagine, goes to JBL here. But that's not to discount the power as far as, you know, lifting ability. The strength ability I would say, go to JBL, but the quickness, the agility, definitely more in Shiva's favor. Although, I have to imagine that Shiva's a lot more of an all-around fighter. You know, he's capable of many good feats of strength, but he's also good with his feet and arms. And now a small package, and clearly his brain. 1, 2, and no! Almost caught JBL looking the other way. And now stepping and stomping and drop kicking, and now both men stumbling a little bit here. And of course, huge matchup. We're starting off Doomsday tomorrow with the Exceeds Championship triple threat. Noob Saibot versus Sephiroth versus real referee Mario. Cover again, and this time, and there's a little bit of that cockiness I was telling you about with Shiva, who I did get the chance to interview before this matchup, and he was not really considering JBL much of a threat at all. He's going, yeah, this is more just like a rite of passage. Like, I kind of have to do this. I'll probably be yawning throughout most of it. It was really, he really did not sweat JBL at all, and I feel like as a former WWE champion, that's a little dangerous to do. You know, former world's champion, that used to mean something in this business, and I think it still does. And now, oh God, and now went for a German JBL. Look at the athleticism of JBL. Countering that German suplex, but right before JBL able to get anything going, high angle back suplex. And, you know, you got to give it to Shiva, who doesn't really look like he's breaking into much of a sweat here. Kind of walking around enjoying himself, another arm drag. And now JBL with probably a smart momentum slowing low blow, as referee Luke Goss is giving JBL the business, like JBL has ever cared about what the referee wants in professional wrestling. But anyway, back to Shiva here now, just stomping more kicks. And you got to admit, oh God! And that almost like a back suplex into a Uranagi, another cover, 1, 2, and no! JBL kicks out at 2, but another big impressive maneuver. But again, the one finisher, the beats pretty much everybody finisher, at least that's what we've been told, the Devaloka kick, another high angle back suplex. And I gotta give it to Shiva, he's really done his homework here against this man. And because of the interest of the pre-show, we may have a few different, oh wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute. Is Shiva doing JBL's powerbomb? That's just rude. And that is the kind of confidence and cockiness that we have seen from Shiva apparently right now. And boy, you want to talk about making a statement, doing JBL's powerbomb. We were mentioning the power game before, and clearly demonstrating that here by giving JBL his own powerbomb. Didn't even go for a cover on that, by the way. Almost wanted to just let JBL feel it. Now look at this, and a nice head scissors there. The agility and the craftiness of Shiva. This man is, well, he's more than a man, he's a god in Seguri. And this has been quite an adventure here for Shiva, a demonstration, if you will, as JBL has really not been able to get anything off the ground. In fact, he's been basically lying on the ground since we started. Another head scissors. JBL is getting his ass handed to him here by Shiva, who doesn't even look like he's barely trying, it almost feels. But of course, we've got major matches, of course, in the next couple of days. I'm going to promote them still. The tag champions, Aquaman and Batman. Oh, not again. Are you kidding me? This is arrogance beyond belief, folks. But oh God, what a power bomb. A second JBL power bomb to JBL. And JBL is not looking good. And it almost looks like Shiva has barely even started here, folks. Like, this is fairly impressive, I gotta say. To take JBL and basically just, well, I don't know about the miscalculation there, but a flying forearm and a chop. And JBL just prone. Oh, wait a second. Going for a figure 4. Big figure 4 here on JBL. Could be over. Can JBL tap to a figure 4 here from Shiva? And, you know, speaking of people with figure 4, of course, the main event of day 1 is the best of 3 falls match between the Joker and Symbiote Spider-Man. The finals of the King of the Spring that you saw all through the month of May and all through the first half of June. What a wild ride it has been to get to this point. It all ends tomorrow. Oh, God, what a boot. JBL now starting to get some momentum here. And now, oh, God, wait a second. Devaloka. He hit him with the Devaloka. That's got to be it. And JBL, I think that might have woken JBL up a little bit. Definitely not happy about that, as he got hit on the crossfire, but I can't imagine, yeah, there we go. I was going to say, I can't imagine JBL. That might have been just adrenaline alone that got him back up from that Devaloka. He does not look good. And German suplex onto the head. And another cross head scissors. As now at a rake to the eyes. And JBL's going to need to start doing a little bit more of those kind of tactics if he wants to win this thing. Nice hip toss using Shiva's momentum against him. As in the 11th hour here, JBL starts to get something going. And another arm drag halts the momentum. And of course, now speaking of, Devaloka right in the middle of the ring, and this time I don't think JBL has got enough to just get up. The cover, 1, 2, 3, and I'll tell you what, man, that was impressive. Shiva makes a monstrous statement here in the opening contest of our Doomsday pre-show. I'll tell you what, this god is going places. If this is the kind of action that Shiva brings to the table, the ante has been upped here in CIW, and I am very interested to see the career of this man go forward. But Shiva getting a decisive victory. Turns out the wrestling god was no match for a real one. But folks, that's only the first of 3 matches here in this pre-show, and our next one is a man who's relegated to pre-shows. It is Ken Masters versus Simon Belmont. Ken Masters got screwed over by Sagat and Nathan Von Schrader, who are now being called the Forgotten Fighters, I'm told. And they say they're not done with acquisitions, trying to remake and reclaim some names for themselves here in CIW, but they did it at the expense of this man, Ken Masters, who the people are really behind and the people have really started to love, and the absolute fuckery that has taken place by Sagat, at least in that second round King of the Spring matchup that, of course, Nathan Von Schrader advanced to, and then we saw him get way too drunk in a match with Symbiote Spider-Man, which made Symbiote Spider-Man advance to the semifinals, which he won against Magus, but that will be on tomorrow. We already mentioned that. But Ken Masters now on the pre-show, thanks to the revelation stipulation, say that 5 times fast, of the Sagat street fight he had. So here he is, in the only spot that he's allowed to be in for the next year, well, at least until the end of December, until Revelation, or at least in this case, our December show, which we are yet to reveal the title of. Here comes Simon Belmont, the captain of the Thunder Thighs Express, but the private, and not even a petty officer, but a private of the win column. As Simon Belmont looks to turn that around, Belmont lost in the first round to Smoke. And that really was a demoralizing loss for this man, who is really trying to get involved. The people seem to like him, but he cannot win. Can he turn that around here tonight against the Street Fighter Ken Masters, who, when he's not getting fucked over, has quite an impressive record here in CIW, former tag champion alongside his now friend-turned-rival Sagat. Simon Belmont has done literally nothing in CIW, unfortunately. He's won a couple matches here and there, but every time that it's mattered, and even sometimes when it hasn't, this man has just not been able to do it. And this is what happens when you focus too much on leg day. I have tried to explain to this man, you've got to work your upper body. He goes, no, all I do is jump. I need to keep my legs strong. And I'm like, I know, Simon, but you can still lift up a goat or something. Take a vampire corpse and just, just a couple of curls before you throw off and kill the next one. How are you that thin body? And Belmont he just doesn't listen to me, so I don't know what his deal is. But Belmont, especially recently, I don't know what his deal is, but he has been especially bitter. And I think a lot of that has to do with his loss record, to tell you the truth. I think the fact that losing to the 15 seed when you're the 2 seed, that's a soul crusher. Ask the Boston Bruins, who were the 1 seed and lost to the maybe Stanley Cup champions Florida Panthers at this point. I don't know. Here we go. And now both of these men kind of just sizing each other up. This is both these guys pretty similar in size. Oh, what a big boot. But in a similar way to Shiva being well-rounded, Ken Masters a little more well-rounded than Belmont. Certainly has the track record to prove it. That deadly Hadouken that has put away a number of individuals. And now, nice almost world's strongest slam type maneuver there by Ken, and a big slap to the back, and down goes Belmont. And Belmont got that Castlevania Crumbler, which is the very devastating maneuver. Even though it may not beat many people, it has certainly been inflicted on many people. And that is a narrative that's going to have to change if Belmont really wants to make a statement here in CIW in this one-on-one matchup here. And now Corleone, I might as well, oh, what a punch to the face. Corleone is back, by the way. He came into the building, I'm being told, right now, and he's watching backstage, and he and AB just entered. Of course, you're going to see AB on commentary, at least on the first day of CIW Doomsday, which will be debuting, of course, tomorrow at 8:58 for the premiere. 9 o'clock is when the matches begin. And now, oh, what a backbreaker. And referee Luke Goss trying to keep an even keel in this matchup. And, of course, our main event tonight is the Fatal 4-Way Battle Royal to determine the #1 contender alongside Black Cat for the women's title on day 2 of Doomsday, the first ever women's champion. And a springboard did not go the way that Ken Masters was anticipating or hoping, I believe. And now just a kick to the gut there from Belmont. And hey, take it easy, Luke. You don't want to get too far into the paint here, even though Corleone and Kevin James are back. Oh, no, come on, not this again. Not this again. Come on, man. And now Sagat just walking out, leaving the ring. Sagat showing up, but but why is he here? He didn't hit anybody, but it certainly feels like there was some yelling that was done. Just stop fucking with Ken Masters, man. And it's interesting that he came out here in this match with Simon Belmont. Is that supposed to mean something? I mean, oh god, no, punch to me. I mean, we now know that him and Von Schrader aligned during that second round matchup. We found that out thanks to that storyline update. Of course, you didn't see that. That was aired yesterday. And now just kicks to the gut from Belmont. And maybe just the slight distraction of Sagat being there was enough to give Belmont an advantage, at least temporarily, as now Ken Masters now is against, once again, the numbers game. But Sagat really needs to leave Ken Masters alone. And I know for a fact, AB was pissed when that happened to Ken Masters, because AB and Ken Masters have been partying a lot lately. Masters is a big stock market fan, and so they've been talking positions and puts and all of that good stuff that, you know, they like to talk about. So he got pretty mad when Sagat just fucked around with Ken Masters. And I do have to mention as well, Corleone is not happy with the fact that multiple people just decided to fuck around during the tournament and afterwards. You know, he's been watching peripherally, but he hasn't really been able to do anything about it until now. So Sagat's going to have to be careful, man, because I know that Corleone particularly drew the ire of AB. And AB and Corleone are tight, man, and you don't want to cross the boss. And I don't know whether that's going to be something that Corleone... Oh, God! And a nice power slam there, and now just that slight distraction of Sagat, and you can hear him yelling. You can't see him, folks, but you can hear Sagat yelling out in the outside here, and he's screaming at Ken Masters, and Ken's just trying to concentrate on winning the match here. He's only allowed to be in pre-shows. There's no reason to fuck him over out of the pre-shows. And look at him. Look at Ken Masters. He's going after Sagat, I think. And Sagat, he shouldn't go outside. It's lawless out there. It's always the Wild West on the outside. That's where anything goes, and Corleone doesn't give a shit. But when Sagat's openly interfering in the ring, that's when it gets to be a point where it is just out of control. And now I think we have our answer, as Belmont and Sagat now taking out Ken Masters. This is ridiculous, man. So I guess we can count Simon Belmont in the Forgotten Fighters. So that means that we've got a three-man arsenal of Sagat, Simon Belmont, and Nathan Von Schrader. And that doesn't sound like a healthy combination. Springboard miss. But, you know, not for nothing, that's shit like that's why Simon Belmont needs someone like Sagat. So I don't really necessarily blame Belmont for going, you know what, fine. And now, oh, big thigh squeeze. And from the Thunder Thighs Express, that is a devastating, devastating move. And now Ken Masters playing the numbers game here. And he shouldn't have to go through this, man. He's already relegated to the pre-shows. He already is serving his punishment. But it's almost like Sagat just wants to embarrass and humiliate Ken Masters. And that's just not right, man. There's no reason to do that. You guys were both friends. And referee Luke Goss has taken a few errant blows here. He really needs to stay out of the way. And our main event is actually going to be recorded in a separate location, just for a fun fact, because we are getting here close to weird. Oh! What a clothesline from Simon Belmont, and nearly decapitated Ken Masters. My word. And just so sickening. Those legs. Yeah, and you know, I mean, even the clothesline, it was an impressive clothesline. Tried to do it again, I think, to Belmont. And Masters trying to fight here with everything he's got. He could still win this here so long as Sagat stays outside of the ring. And Ken, you can't go outside. You can't get distracted by Sagat on the outside. That's going to hurt you every time. Into the ring post. Oh, no. What a high-angle German. And I don't know how Ken Masters is even standing after that high-angle German that Sagat just launched onto Sagat. Both men back in the ring now. And here it is. The Castlevania Crumbler. The damage might be done. Oh, into the back and the spine. And now the cover. After Sagat with the backbreaker. 1, 2. Oh, Ken Masters still stays alive. And after the one half Boston Crab that we saw from Sagat earlier, the distraction, now the choke to the head from Belmont, the high angle German, the slam into the ring post, and a Castlevania Crumbler And Ken Masters still says, I'm still fighting. This is why people love this man. This is the attitude, but look at Belmont, smartly luring Masters out there, and now he's on an island. And he is on the wrong side of that island, and he needs to get the hell out of Dodge and stop going to the outside. But smart tactic from Belmont, luring him out there, but Sagat once again was lying in wait. And oh, what a power slam. And now Ken Masters is not looking too hot. Now Ken Masters is in a bad position here, now standing him up. And an elbow drop completely missing his target. And Simon, no disrespect, you may climb a lot, but you're not that good at jumping off of stuff. And now Masters trying to just fight back into this thing. And now again, another world's strongest slam, or the master slam, for lack of a better word, or any phrase whatsoever. But Ken Masters, this is just not right, man. And I'm in between, and I just got a text from Corleone, oh, he's hot. Corleone's hot. He just sent a whole bunch of emojis of, actually, it's GIFs of him and Scarface snorting cocaine. So that's not good. Sagat, I'm going to tell you the truth. Belmont, I'm going to tell you the truth. That's not good. You don't want him like that. Trust me, you don't want him like that. Dragon Screw. Ken Masters still trying here, but he's not looking good. But never rule Ken Masters out. That's the thing we've known. Remember the comeback against Packard? And well, that may not matter now. That was 2014. It's 2023. And a second Castlevania crumbler. And that could do it. The bruised ribs of Ken Masters may not survive. 1, 2, 3. And Belmont gets a win. A much-needed win, but at the expense of Ken Masters, thanks to Sagat. And Corleone's not happy. AB's not happy. Belmont and Sagat have got to be happy. Ken Masters screwed over again. This is getting out of hand, man. The statement was made, Sagat. You made your goddamn point. But somebody is going to make Sagat pay, I hope. But we will find out. I mean, when Corleone says stuff like this, I'm guessing we're going to get an answer before the end of the night. But it is not the end of the night yet, folks, because we've got a fatal four-way battle royal to determine who faces Black Cat for the Women's Championship. And here are our participants. Nina Sayers, the Pink Ranger Sydney from SPD, Space Patrol Delta, Natalie Portman, and Lara Croft. And I am interested to see this NWO sticker here on Natalie Portman, but as you heard, I'm sure, in the storyline video that aired yesterday, Natalie Portman is basically trying to amalgamate, and has amalgamated, the four Portmans to become the Portman World Order, is what I've been called. Nina Sayers is in it, Evie Hammond is in it, apparently Padme is also in it, and I did not know this, but will that be a factor here? And I noticed that all of these women have these wonderful little hats, and they must all say NWO, meaning Natalie World Order, which, no disrespect to Natalie Portman, I feel like that's a little, kind of a ripoff there. I'm not saying that people in AEW and women in AEW aren't already doing that. But now in comes Nina Sayers, who is from the Black Swan, and that was as close as I could get to a ballerina outfit. Sue me. You can't, because it doesn't look like her, because you can't come up with a ballerina outfit. And besides, Nina Sayers said to me she does not want to expose her legs to the public, because she says the people have to pay for that, and that I think is totally fair. Here comes the Pink Ranger. Now, if you recall back at the beginning of this tournament, we started in Saturday Night Hype with a four-way battle royal that Black Cat won, and the Yellow Ranger, Elizabeth, or Lizzie, had a hell of a showing, had a mess of brainbusters, and just was not able to win it on the occasion. Black Cat coming out on top on that exchange, but there is a lot to be said about the Pink Ranger. She is basically the Power Rangers' last hope of having any sort of relevancy here in the Doomsday sphere, as both the Blue Ranger and the Green Ranger fell in the first round of the King of the Spring. Actually, Sydney was not even able to be cleared to compete until about a week ago, because Eclipse dumped the Blue Ranger onto Sydney in that first round matchup, and that did not bode well for Sydney. But she is much better now And she is now able to, if she can, punch her ticket into Doomsday, onto day 2 of Doomsday, but in her way is Natalie Portman. And you know, it was fascinating in that 4-way battle royal that Padme and Evie Hammond both still fought each other pretty viciously back and forth. I have to wonder, will there be any cohesion here between these two, or is it what I suspect it's going to be, and it's that yes, there is a coalition, but the attitude is whichever woman holds it, holds it. So we'll have to see what the dynamic's going to be like here between Natalie Portman and Nina Sayers going forward. But given the fact that Lara Croft won our first women's match, again in a hell of a contest against Natalie Portman in the form of Padme, and considering as well that Black Cat is waiting in the wings and that I'm sure the Pink Ranger's going to have something to say about it here tonight, this could go to any of these 4 women. But you can tell they definitely live in the gimmick up here, as Natalie Portman has got certainly got an attitude of superiority considering her ubiquity in the division. And here comes Lara Croft. And Lara Croft, off the momentum of winning and being a part of the first women's match in CIW history, which has gotten a huge reception. A lot of people have gotten a chance to watch that, and I do appreciate all of you new viewers and new subscribers who've hopped on in the past couple of months. And folks, don't forget, every single referee you see, you can save. You can help treat their wounds when they get hurt. All you got to do is pop that like, pop that share, pop that subscribe, and you share it with everyone you know. And you leave how much you like CIW in the comment section, or leave your hate. I don't care. I'm just happy that you're viewing, and we thank you all for being here in this momentous occasion, our main event of the Doomsday pre-show. And here we go. And immediately, Portman going right after Nina Sayers, or at least turning her around. It looks like maybe shouting instructions. And, oh, no, they're fighting. Looks like, and maybe Nina just didn't quite get the message, or Portman is just not having it. But here we go, swinging neckbreaker from Sydney. And our main event referee here is actually Jonah Hill, as Kevin James is going to be officiating Doomsday Day 2, which includes the major loser leaves CIW submission match between Bruce Lee and Johnny Cage. It has come to this. I am sad it has come to this, that one man must leave, but this is what Bruce Lee and Johnny Cage have both asked for. So I have no choice. And Corleone has allowed me to do it, that they are going to have this match, and it's ironic because Bruce Lee has been in a submission loser leaves match before against Magus back in 2014, and he won it. So can he do it again against Johnny Cage? We'll find out on Sunday. And of course, a major Hell in a Cell match between Wario and Pepsi Man. The feud comes to an end Sunday night after match after match after match, and Pepsi Man finally getting his, and Wario screwing Pepsi Man out of his championship opportunity in the semifinals that the Joker took advantage of. And then, of course, our main event, Kratos versus Captain Pollution for the CIW Heavyweight Championship. Nice leg lariat whip by Nina Sayers. And Natalie Portman with a nice front face lock, standing front face lock, taking Sydney down. Nobody really getting a major setup here. And now a big hip toss. And I know we are a couple days past Flag Day, but happy Flag Day. That's why we are here at the GAB Arena. And because we have the gift of gab. And this is actually the arena. Oh, and I just got a text from Amir and from A. Bizzle and Corleone. They said it's a group text here. And apparently, I am being told that Michael Corleone is so pissed that Sagat is just fucking around and just not violating the rules of the contract, but just continuing to be a dick about it. Corleone wants a piece of Sagat. And that match is going to happen in Day 2 of Doomsday as well. And what a suplex from Lara Croft. A hesitating suplex, beautifully done by Lara. But I guess we are going to be shoehorning that match in to Day 2. So 5 matches on Day 2 as Sagat versus Corleone is going to take place. And I'm sure A. Bizzle is going to be in Sagat's corner. And now that we know Sagat has 2 followers, I'm sure there's going to be someone in his corner. So stay tuned for that, folks. Doomsday tomorrow and Sunday. 9 p.m. Eastern Time is when the festivities begin. We cannot wait to bring you this ultimate conclusion to 2 months worth of build. Spike pile driver from Lara. And it seems like every time that I'm back to the match, Lara's doing something major. Fireman's carry from Nina Sayers, take a drink. And of course these women know they're only going to get a day's worth of rest, as Black Cat has been waiting for the better part of 2 months for this match. You think that it's on the minds of these guys. Of course, this was all drawn at random, who was in what matchup. And now Portman rocking the pink meat wallet of the Pink Ranger, as Sydney's Sidsticles and a baby splash, 2, and no, only 2 went for the Sayers splash. That's actually a nice, I like that. Went for a Sayers splash, and that was not enough to pin Lara on that occasion. Of course, Portman has got the PWR. Oh God, what a DDT, a running DDT from Sydney. And Portman has got that the youngling DDT as she did. Oh God, and a neck breaker. And now, oh, again, and once again, just assaulting the meat wall. At this time, it's the Pink Ranger getting a little revenge there, even though it wasn't the Lara that did it to her. But, you know, Jonah Hill. Oh no! Portman is slapping Jonah Hill, and Jonah Hill's not happy about that. And I don't know if Natalie Portman and Jonah have worked together in matches or in Hollywood before. Maybe there's something to that. But Natalie just slapping the top of the head several times of Jonah Hill, and thankfully Jonah is not passed out because of that. That would have been pretty sad, but still, there's no reason to attack the referee. And now again, this Sydney's meat wallet getting once again frothy at the oh God, that was a bad adjective to use. Frothy, oh God. And now the Portman Plex cover, 1, 2, and no! Oh, Nina Sayers almost eliminated by Natalie Portman after the Portman Plex. And now an elbow drop, knocking Lara Croft out head first. And that might be the biggest flying elbow drop I've ever seen in CIW. That was a leapt over Nina and the Pink Ranger to deliver that elbow straight to the dome of Lara Croft. That was impressive. All 4 of these women have been impressive. And of course, with Battle Royal rules, you cannot leave the ring. That is where you will be automatically disqualified. You got to fight it out and make a pin or submission happen inside. And that's how we do things here in CIW Battle Royals. Allows the lawlessness to be contained just a little bit. Oh, Gutbuster. Big Gutbuster here. And which one of these women? Oh, another Portman Plex to Nina Sayers. But it looks like Jonah Hill is more distracted with the spinning toe hold that has got that Pink Ranger's got, missing the count right in front of his face, and it wasn't enough. And now Portman's slap on Jonah Hill has been repaid in kind. As Jonah Hill's like, hey, you're going to slap me? Well, I'm not going to count your cover then. And, you know, it's almost hard to blame Jonah, but, you know, he's trying to handle 4 women at once here, and I can barely handle 1, so let alone, you know, all the credit in the world to Jonah Hill for the work that he's putting in. And Lara Croft now drop kicking the Pink Ranger, but Lara's not looking too good. She was holding her gut. Looks like the Pink Ranger's not looking too good either. She's holding her gut. And now just slaps to the head. More slaps, just knocking her silly. A nice shoulder tackle there from the Pink Ranger. And of course, this isn't elimination rules, which means it's the last woman standing. Spike pile driver to Sydney. And all of these, well, a third Portman Plex, this time once again to Sayers, 1, 2, and 3. And Nina Sayers is the first eliminated by Natalie Portman. So I think it's safe to say that there were no allegiances here when it comes to the CIW Women's Championship match. We are now down to Sydney the Pink SPD Ranger, Lara Croft, and Natalie Portman. One of these 3 women will meet Black Cat in Day 2 of Doomsday for this first ever CIW Women's Championship. That is major, and I am actually really proud of how the belt looks too as well. It's pretty prestigious. We've made it work, and we've finally introduced the women's division after so long. I'm very happy that all of you have patiently waited for equity And that is what we have given you. And now another shoulder tackle. Lara getting the better side. Now Sydney fighting with everything she's got here. And now just double slaps. Slap from Lara and a slap from Natalie Portman. And there's not going to be much taste left in the mouths of these women. They're going to be eating yogurt for a week at the rate these ladies are slapping each other in the face. That's what they're going to be have to say. Their tongues are going to be sticking out because after the amount of slaps they're taking. They're doing so many slaps, Dana White wants to make a TV show out of it. And but we're not going to let him. We're not going to let him. And now a nice snapmare. Nice tornado DDT. Or a running DDT, at least, from the Pink Ranger. And we've still got 2 eliminations left to go before we figure out who faces Black Cat on Sunday. And all 3 of these women fighting hard. And Lara Croft has got that Tomb Raider, of course. The Pink Ranger, I believe, has got another major. I'm not quite sure what the Pink Ranger uses to put opponents away. We haven't seen it yet. And Nina Sayers, more than anybody, knows what the Portman Plex is all about. Big punch to the face. And now, oh, God! It's a huge, what a move! And the cover, what a flatliner, 2, 3! Nina Sayers is out, which means the Pink Ranger and Natalie Portman are left. And, you know, I have nothing against Natalie Portman, but boy, would I love to see any Power Ranger do anything of any sort in CIW. So come on, Sydney. Make yourself famous here tonight against Natalie Portman after that beautiful flatliner. It was a perfectly executed, and it worked on Lara Croft. And again, the meat wallet, a coochie contusion might form here, may endure some swelling. I'll never know. And Jonah Hill giving Natalie Portman the business here because it ain't right to do no matter who it is and no matter what they got down there, but. You know, in the interest of equality, I'm glad to see that women are doing it to each other. Oh, and then nice miss there. Dove in, got too much momentum, and Sydney saw it coming, took a little too much time. Did Natalie Portman, but Portman's getting right back on Sydney and bringing her right back into the corner. Bulldog and clothesline combination. But Sydney still getting there. We've seen the flatliner. We've seen the Pink Ranger's flatliner, and we've seen the Portman Plex. Either one of those 2, I think, will finish this matchup. And Black Cat, you know that Black Cat's waiting in anticipation with that vicious cat's claws that we saw put away a number of individuals herself. And now the Pink Ranger just doling right hands to the face of Natalie Portman, messing up that complexion, maybe going to knock that mole off her cheek. And now Portman does not having it now. But took about 7 or 8 knuckle sandwiches without the barbecue sauce. Straight to the face here in your main event. That's what this Women's Championship means to these 2 individuals. That's what it means to compete at Doomsday on Sunday. And you're going to get 2 more major events. And Portman Plex, the cover, center of the ring, 1, 2, 3. Natalie Portman wins the Battle Royal. Which means we've got Natalie Portman versus Black Cat for the first ever CIW Women's Championship match. That's going to be a barn burner. But folks, this weekend is a barn burner. The burns will be barned. The slobber will be knocked. And we are going to have ourselves a big old blast. Tons of wrestling action. King of the Spring Finals. Championships defended. Doomsday 2 days is going to be a hell of a time. I can't wait to see you all there. Natalie Portman will be there, and we hope you'll be there too, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you then. Good night, everybody.